Phygital, love it. Just because it's a combination, like it's a wordplay, like physical and digital.
Yeah, I think we should just cancel it because it doesn't cover the richness of innovation that we have.
Or we're using NFC chips. I already have like one on my nail inside. It's my business card. We had some kind of like digital escape. It was only our real world back there, like when the real world disappeared. If you want just a wow effect and we're going for CGI, you're willing to become super viral because you're launching this type of product after it. Like, you not do just something for nothing because it's cool.
Take your front row seat at Rewire Fashion, where fashion meets technology and innovation takes center stage. I'm your host, Dr. Karin, and today's episode is all about fashion, technology, and the game-changing innovations that are redefining the industry. Today, we're taking a closer look at phygital fashion and the technologies that are actually transforming how fashion connects, augments, and immerses us. From near-field communication and augmented reality to digital storytelling and community building, we'll unpack what's real, what's hype, and where fashion is headed next. Joining us today is Asia, co-founder and CEO of CELED Studio, a digital marketing agency and Web3 studio that's transforming brands with the power of immersive technology. Let's get started. Welcome, Asia.
Thank you so much, Karin. I'm so happy to be here with you.
It's my pleasure. I'm very happy that you're here and that we're talking about immersive experiences.
My favorite topic.
Yeah, I know. Asia, I'd love to hear your perspective on how digital technology is actually transforming the fashion industry today. What are the most exciting changes you're seeing from your point of view at CELED Studio at the moment?
Absolutely. I love the question. Thank you so much. First of all, like CELED, such a weird name that we got. It's Creative Experimental Lab for Emergent Design. So we're trying to hop on any trend that is just arising and trying to implement it in a digital fashion. Digital fashion having multiple layers right now. So brands are mostly using it for digital storytelling, augmented reality mirrors, obviously for gaming, phygital garments that we're probably going to discuss after.
Yes.
So those are the current trends. And obviously CGI, VFX videos, they're super viral on social media and it's attracting a lot of new users, new audiences, modern audiences. So that's basically how the digital fashion is transforming nowadays.
Yeah, you're throwing around like abbreviations and maybe not everyone is familiar with it. What is CGI, for example, if you could just explain that?
Yeah, absolutely. Is, that the difference between CGI and VFX and it's super little. Like in the easiest way how to explain it, it's at Pixar or Marvel animation. So when we're working with different 3D models and visual effects, then we're adding the layers of sound design and we're working with the 3D models in a real environment on the real footage. That's basically the difference, like a cinematic images and a visual effects.
Okay. Well explained. Explained. I mentioned NFC as well. We have also NFTs, but we're going into that a bit later. You mentioned Phygital, and I mentioned Phygital in the introduction as well. We talked about it, and I told you that it's not my favorite word. However, some people use the term Phygital to describe the shift, right, that is happening right now. What do you think of that term, and how do you feel it does justice to the kinds of experiences that CELED Studio is actually creating?
Yeah. Thank you. The Phygital, love it. Just because it's a combination, like it's a wordplay, like physical and digital. But in my projects, I would say that we're having many other layers. So there is also emotional level, there is also intellectual level, there is a storytelling level. So combining just two words like physical and digital, it's too little. But when we're saying that things like this, it's normally we're connected to some kind of augmented reality activated garments. So for example, we're using augmented reality filters to activate the painting, the print on top of the garment, or we're using some kind of gamification experiences, so it can be AR mini game or something that is bringing you to the digital world. Like honestly, everything is phygital nowadays because everyone has its own digital identity. We have our digital identity.
Correct.
Every piece of clothes has a digital identity nowadays. So like I also, I love this I love this word, but it's not like completely describing it in a perfect way.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I love to hear that it's actually not that accurate, because I love terms. I mean, my background is legal, so as a lawyer, you have to be very precise with definitions and terms. And I just feel like Phygital doesn't do justice of what's happening in the fashion industry right now when it comes to like different layers of digital activations. You mentioned activate the garment or the layer. So what do you mean by that? If you could just explain that. How do you activate like AR, for example?
Well, there are multiple ways. We're using QR codes, or we're using NFC chips. I already have like one on my nail inside. It's my business card. So like
interesting.
I'm also phygital as a person. I have a digital layer inserted in my body right now. So
I love that. So I can just tap my phone, I guess, on your nail, and then what happens?
Then you're getting my business card. You're getting my phone number, links to my socials, and it's just like, sometimes you're a bit overwhelmed in the conferences and your social battery is low, so you are like tapping and running away, but obviously it works much faster than QR codes. We used to use QR codes for everything, especially after COVID times when everything just moved to QR code space, like the menu at the restaurants, everything appeared. But right now I love NFC chips much better because it's faster and it's giving you this wow effect instantly, because people are still not completely familiar with this and they're super comfortable.
Yeah, and I think it's also a bit more elegant because you don't see it immediately, right? Whereas like QR codes are really, I mean, you have to display them. They have to be somewhere. Let's say you have a t-shirt, then if you activate it through a QR code, you either have to have it on the t-shirt or on inside, right, on a label. Whereas with the NFC chip, you can probably just put it wherever you want, right? Or what would you say?
The only problem like with the garments is that you cannot iron them, or the area with the NFC chips. You can wash them. So like, or you should be careful with this area, or it's like sometimes it's not the best solution for t-shirts, for example, that can be easily, ruined. Sometimes like QR codes are still alive and they could be still in a good shape if we are trying to create some kind of embroidery on the garment or introduce like the QR code in an interesting shape and make it a part of the painting or something like this. So both things still work.
Okay, very interesting. So coming back or circling back to the word Phygital. So I've always felt that basically what you were saying, while Phygital captures just some aspects of what's going on, or basically the shift that is going on in the fashion industry, it doesn't fully convey, the richness and the interactivity actually of these experiences that especially your studio is creating for many brands. I obviously did my research, and the term Phygital is a blend of physical and digital, as you said, and it was actually determined in 2007 already by an Australian experience agency, and it basically described at that time the integration of digital technologies into physical spaces to enhance customers' experience. So that was the original term. Wow. However, like today, Phygital fashion seems to be garments that combine physical components with the digital enhancements or activations, including augmented reality, AR, non-fungible tokens, the NFTs, and interactive technologies. Could be anything, creating immersive experiences and interconnected fashion experiences. So it shifted basically a term that was created in 2007, and I think it shifted particularly during COVID. I don't know if that's true, but that's my observation. Did you see that as well, that people started using the term Phygital during COVID in the context of fashion a bit more?
Yeah, absolutely, because we had some kind of like digital escape. It was only our real world back there.
Yeah.
Like when the real world disappeared, we were left like in all types of communication, in all types of entertainment, in all types of people were celebrating birthdays on live streams or something like this, just to reconnect with friends. Absolutely. Then we like to the one hand, probably we needed COVID. Like it's a horrible thing. It's like, but revolutionary. It done like.
It was a booster, right?
It's a booster. Absolutely. We shifted completely, and now we're never gonna come back. Like the way we're working nowadays, how most of the people, they are just working from home after COVID. Like the office days, they are just like from 5 till 2. Yeah,
definitely. And but again, like coming back to my favorite word, Phygital, I personally think it's way too broad in terms of in the context of fashion, and too broad and too vague, because it doesn't really like define what it actually is or what's happening in fashion right now. It doesn't tell us, for example, how the physical and the digital interact, or why it matters to the person that is wearing the garment, for example. That somehow doesn't really, Phygital doesn't really tell, right? Doesn't really say, oh, what's actually happening there. And this is why I would like to introduce 3 different terms and discuss that with you.
Let's go. I love it.
Yeah, I was like thinking, okay, how can we rename that or just make it a bit more precise? And so the first term would be augmented fashion. And which basically, I mean, it's not a rebellious name or definition, but it's like augmented fashion. It's basically it enhances physical garments with AR, digital overlays, or other technology. And it basically highlights the digital enhancement, and I think that's quite important because that's what's going on right now, of the physical fashion. You mentioned it already, right? To activate it through QR code or NFC chip. So you're wearing a physical garment, but the physical garment has a technology layer, which could be a QR code or an NFC chip, and then you activate it. And I believe like augmented fashion focuses more on how technology upgrades the physical object itself. So that's the first term. What would you think, like from your or perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it because, like, considering that real world is not enough anymore, so like augmented things are completely trending right now. Like, not exactly like virtual.
Yeah.
Because VR headsets and this kind of spaces are still too heavy for people. But when you can still have a contact with reality and adding something, augmenting it with a digital layer, but still having an opportunity to experience something real, like good fabric, beautiful designs, sustainable fashion, and then you're adding layers to it. I love the term augmented fashion.
Okay, so it's approved by Asia, the first one. And then the second term that I would like to introduce is connected fashion. And connected fashion for me is basically garments or items that connect the person who's wearing it to communities, to an app, to loyalty systems or ecosystems. And it basically conveys that community and community and accessibility and brand loyalty. And I think that's really, really like trending now, like brand loyalty or how to connect with customers. I think that's really important. And it's about creating relationships through fashion. And I think that's so beautiful. It's so that the brands, they actually activate through connected fashion and they have a relation or start building a relationship to their customers. And I believe it focuses on interconnectivity. So basically wearable tech that links with your like your phone, social, like social media, social sharing, blockchain, NFTs, loyalty programs, and community experience. So
Great.
that's my second definition.
Like for Web3, community is everything.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going to love everything. Like I should be objective and I should choose sometimes in this life. But like it's really great. Everything is about the community, and people right now are more likely to connect to emotions and to the community that the brand is bringing to you as a vision. If you wear my brand, like what kind of person you are, who you are, what you do, what your daily routine.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all about like, new popular word like aura and
Yeah.
So it's really hard to sell with a label right now. No, like in 2025, we don't care about labels. We're all like quiet fashion. Yeah, all of the new trends and, I think it's great as well.
Yeah, I think you're mentioning something interesting, because we had like this quiet luxury, right? Which you were like just mentioning, and why
old money aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. But there is no label, nothing on the garments at all. But still, if you buy these brands, you recognize other people who wear it as well,
you
right?
are part of the community.
Exactly.
That's the most important.
Yes, yeah. So I think community is really important, and that's why I think like connected fashion, and I would like to talk about it with you as well, how you actually connect or do connected fashion with the brands that you work with. But let's finish the second term, and then we will go a bit deeper into the details. So the third term is immersive fashion, which is basically pieces that create a full experience, blending physical presence, storytelling, and interactive technology. And immersive is basically conveys that fashion is no longer static, which I believe in the past it was quite static. It's dynamic, it's evolving, and layered with different digital possibilities, and it's beyond just seeing or wearing. So that's my third term.
Very interesting. Well, like when we talk about immersive technologies, like all of the new technologies that are appearing, and fashion being able to become a part of it, that sounds also revolutionary and very optimistic. I believe there are still some super techy things that cannot be connected to fashion, otherwise you're gonna ruin it, because clothes needs to give you comfort.
Oh yeah.
It should be beautiful, it should be aesthetically pleasant, so we would not obtain all of the possibilities of immersive technologies while connecting it with fashion.
Yeah.
But from your perspective, this term can also work. But everything better than just Phygital.
Yeah. So I was really trying to come up with something that is more precise, right, than just Phygital, because I think, Phygital is an old term, and also it doesn't really come from fashion, right? So it's like more from spaces and marketing as well. I think for spaces, probably Phygital is an okay term. But when it comes to the garments, I think there's much more we can do. And that's why I invited you, because I think CELED Studio is doing great stuff. And you're actually exactly doing that. You're not just doing Phygital fashion or Phygital experiences, you're doing much more. And I would say you cover the three of them, the augmented one, the immersive one, and the connected fashion. So not only the Phygital part. But I think it's time that we retire the term Phygital, and because it just doesn't capture the richness.
Cancelled.
Yeah, I think we should just cancel it, because it doesn't cover the richness of innovation that we have, that we're currently seeing, and that we're probably seeing in the future even more, right? So that's why I would love to cancel this.
Okay.
This term. Let's see, right?
Victim of the cancel culture, word Phygital, after this podcast and forever.
Yeah, please do, everyone, please cancel the term Phygital. Yeah, but I would like to speak a bit more about how you collaborate with brands and how you work with brands. So what do brands need to consider when integrating like the physical products with digital layers, especially in terms of design and production timelines? What would you say?
Well, it's a very complex question. You know, for a lot of luxury brands that are established on the market, like doing this kind of a huge change, and especially with it being, you know, quite luxury, being trending, you cannot really touch the clothes directly and start like embroidering something on it. So they are starting a little bit more from far away. They started with entering Web3 community. They tried it in gaming. Yeah. So like they took the perspective of digital fashion. It's just like creating a digital copies of real garment. Yeah. And creating some gamification experiences for younger audiences. So younger audience got introduced to the luxury brands. This is how it's all started. It was very beginning, just like such a light step, you know, but it worked out, we might say. Then some brands who are actually a bit more courageous, they started to have this type of actuations with a print and with filters.
Like who, for example? Can you name
Calvin Klein.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
You know, but I would say like middle segment or something, not still like luxury.
Not luxury. What did they do, Calvin Klein?
It was just the first step was a T-shirt with augmented reality with some kind of interesting filters. It was augmenting with different colors, and it's like, you know, it's a white tee, like a super basic thing that it's not like, you know, okay, you can buy this one or that one. In the end of the day, it will not change a lot of things. And it was like the key actuator was pretty little.
Okay.
But
what was it? Was it a code or was it an NFC chip? Or?
No, it was a QR code.
A QR code.
Like I'm talking.
Very simple.
Like, very beginning, very beginning of it. Then different approach, just augmented reality filters on social platforms. So it's not directly connected to the clothes, but it's promoting the garments, and beauty industry was entering much faster because it's like, you know, you really need AR try-ons for everything. Yes, that's another aspect that was like, okay, so we're doing digital shopping every single day. So how it can be easier for me not to get to the shop and actually try something on if I can get a try-on at home. And like a lot of different technological brands, luxury brands, they started to have something that really not requiring being super precise with the sizing, but you can already see it in your house by using like augmented reality. So,
interesting. So, for example, Gucci, right, has an app, and they have an AR filter as well in their own app. Is that correct? Or
And like they started like great in Web3. They had NFT mini movies. Like true. Alessandro Michele, he done a lot. For this, you know, like Gucci's were one of the first entrants in this space, and it was all very beautiful, like super nice collectibles. I'm not, I'm not a collector of the Gucci NFTs, but I believe that people who are still holding them, they're super happy, and they will be able to, you know, resell it pretty expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they also had collaborations with NFT artists, by the way. I just met recently an NFT artist that collaborated with Gucci. Yeah, very interesting. So they explored many different directions, like NFTs, AR, whatever. So I think they had a great team. I don't know if the team is still around, and because now we have a change, obviously, of the creative director, and let's see where it goes. I mean, I'm curious to hear more about Gucci as well. Is there anything else or any brand that you would say, okay, they did a really good job, like in the beginning, especially?
In the beginning, Balenciaga Fortnite.
Yeah, with gaming,
with gaming.
So they targeted Gen Zs, I believe, and Gen Alpha maybe even,
Yes, it was before their major scandal, and it's like, yes, but then with a change of creative direction, we will see how it is going. Like high fashion world is super interesting. Dolce Gabbana done a lot.
Oh,
like
true.
Super pioneers everywhere, part of metaverse luxury symposiums, limitless innovation, great Italian company. They're always headliners, digital fashion week, metaverse fashion weeks, beauty, augmented reality filters, collaboration with multiple artists.
Wow, okay. Yeah, they've done a lot as well. I wasn't even aware that they did actually so many different things. Okay.
Then Prada Sphere, all of the augmented reality spaces and virtual reality spaces for perfumes, Paradox. Great thing that when every single perfume is coming with a virtual reality space.
I didn't know.
Yeah, not a lot of people noticing it, but like you have a QR code on a bottle, you can scan it, and you're immersing yourself into the world that is also describing you every single element of the fragrance that you're experience. Yeah. You know, like being a part of the tech world, I'm paying a lot of attention to this kind of thing.
Of course, yeah. So you basically you buy the bottle in a normal store, then you scan the QR code, and then a new world opens, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's all like, it can be directly from your phone, you know, it's just, it's made on web, so great collaboration. Their Prada try-ons, also amazing, and all of the Prada capsule, their NFT collection.
Yeah, the monthly NFT collection, which is nice.
Made by Pezzo di Studio, also great guys. Love them so much. Okay, what else? Which other brands
I think that's quite a lot. No, it's interesting to see that they're not just doing like NFTs, because I heard, many people are very much against NFTs, or they say, NFTs are bad, because in the beginning, or I would say during the NFT hype, a lot of brands just jumped on the train and wanted to be part of it as well, without a proper strategy. That's my opinion. I think they didn't really think about what they actually want. They just wanted to get an activation
tickling out of the bucket list.
Exactly.
Just to do this and
innovation check, and that's it. Yeah.
And for me, it's also like, I run my studio, and obviously we're seeking for clients with who we can get a contract and work together for years. But when brands are having this type of approach that they want to do it just once, it cannot be a normal strategy. Strategy is step by step, and you cannot just throw it into your audience and say, okay, we've done it, we don't care about anyone. Like everyone is like, I'm heartbroken, the audience as well, everyone. Like it's such a bad thing to do generally, but because you need to introduce these kind of things really step by step. Like the audience should be educated. Not everyone is from Web3 space. Not everyone is like tech girlies if they love fashion, but it's such an interesting world. And if you have a good storytelling and you can explain it, everyone will fall in love with it.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. I think sometimes it's a bit overwhelming for people that are not in the space, in the digital space. And that's why education, I think that's really important. And the question from my side would be, are you educating the brands as well? Because they might or might not have such a great team. So do you explain to them, listen, is it better to have like a strategy instead of just like one activation and that's it? Do you educate them in that sense as well?
Absolutely, I do. And I'm happy to invest a lot of my time to explain how everything works. Sometimes the approach of the brands and who's responsible for this type of activation, it's super interesting, because I'm getting requests like they see our CGI VFX videos, like, professional ones, because like we get some examples like with Fendi, Prada, Miu Miu, and okay, great. And I receive like a message, can we get like this AI video or something? Like it's not AI.
Yes.
It's absolutely like it's thousands of human hours. It's not AI. While and you're willing to pay the price for CGI, you don't care, but like, please listen to me. Like, I will explain you the difference, and then you will understand which strategy is better for you to take. Or we are moving to AI campaigns, and it's for you, it's more important to invest less but be more consistent. Then we can achieve this kind of, if you want just a wow effect and we're going for CGI, you're willing to become super viral because you're launching this type of product after it, like, you know. So I'm spending a lot of time to explain possible strategies, possible ways how we can attract your audience for a specific reason. You not do just something for nothing because it's cool. I mean, if you want to tick out the bucket list, possible, but
but that's not,
it should make sense, right?
And I think you mentioned something really interesting. So CGI versus AI. So I mean, AI, everyone is using AI. I have the feeling that everyone is basically writing everything with AI or like designing stuff with AI. What or how is AI changing your job? Or like, maybe you just explain the difference between CGI and AI. Will AI replace the work that you're doing right now with CGI or not?
At the moment, I don't think so, at least not completely. And it's also depending so much on the goal, what you would like to create with your video. Sometimes you have requirements that are so precise that is impossible to create with AI, or you will spend like crazy hours, because the beauty of CGI, you are filming real people at the real place. Everything is super real. You're filming real humans' reaction. That's the most beautiful. Something is happening, and you can 100% tell that like it's a real setting. And
it's
then
a human being.
You seamlessly add in 3D, like into and all of the people are starting. You remember, like with first like Jacques Mus bags.
Oh
and
yes.
It was just and it was a lot of memes about that. My grandma decided that she became mad because she just seen like these huge bags driving around Paris or something.
Yes.
So like you cannot tell how this can be real, and like the precision, like the quality is insane. AI, we still can detect it super easily. And with all of these viral videos that don't trust AI or something like this, also the trick that they're doing right now, in the beginning, it's a real footage. And like the last 5 seconds, something is happening with AI, you know, but you can clearly tell, because like in the beginning, it's a real footage with a lot of detailization. And then in the end, if you like pay attention, you will see that like it's a huge difference. So if you want to have a good quality product with your own description, with your own vision, that will save you a lot of money on the campaign creation, because CGI is giving you like the sky isn't limited. You can do campaign that would in reality cost billions of dollars. I mean, we're super international. I'm not based from euros. Sorry.
No worries.
Absolutely. It's given you unlimited sky, and you can complete any kind of campaigns that you could possibly envision for the same price that would any CGI cost you, right? And with AI, you cannot get this kind of precision. But obviously, like if the budget is lower and you need like big quantities, obviously it's looking good enough.
Yeah.
And I love AI campaigns and AI videos as well. And they can be super creative.
True.
Like into the creativity, I love AI so much. I love playing with it. But if you need precision and you need this kind of idea, and you need like Eiffel Tower wearing this kind of specific jacket, and then something is happening extra, and then you have exactly your uncle saying hi, like, or something like this. You know, you cannot do this with AI. Not still. Maybe exactly. Maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah, we don't know. I feel like with AI, brands have like the opportunity to hyper personalize content. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be like super precise, but just like they can create content that I feel they're talking to me, for example, not with CGI videos or something like that, but maybe just like content where I feel, okay, they know me, or they talk to me, they say, hi, Karin, or whatever. What do you feel, or what do you think? Is that something brands will do in the future? You know, like different types of digital activities, or like they have CGI videos, but then they have like AI videos or generated content that speak to each person, each customer individually. What do you think? Is that a trend, or?
Well, that's a very interesting question. Well, depends on the goal. Once again, I will come back to this one. For example, another product that we are creating, it's called like virtual sales agents.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So it's an avatar that is looking hyper realistic, and it's looking like a real person connected to AI that can talk directly to you and answer you a lot of questions, especially for the cold clients that are just entering your website. It's like a plugin to your website. Yeah. So they're getting this kind of experience that is more personal than a chatbot. We've done several tests, and we understood that it's working really better.
So people are more responsive to to that?
At the moment, it's also like super fun for them, especially if you make avatars like a little bit like flirty, or you make them joke. We know that AI cannot joke still yet. That's the worst. But, still it's super interesting, and it can work well. It can answer your question. And then once the client, let's say it's ready, then it can move to a real sales agent and have a conversation with a real person. So AI can personalize things at certain level, but obviously in the end you still need a real human interaction. And I feel like it's beautiful. Like, we're not planning to die. We still need people to work and doing this kind of things, but we're going to use AI a lot as a tool. But the beautiful thing that you always need a human touch in the end.
Yeah, and that was actually also one of my questions, is like, how can brands ensure that technology doesn't take over like the whole creativity and also us humans? And is there a risk that brands brands actually lose the human touch, just like human beings?
Absolutely. But, the prompts for AI, they're written by humans. Anyways, you need a human touch. Like, AI will not stand up and start writing a poem or a song because it's decided to, if it's not programmed by a human specifically. Like, you need a human touch to, like, human needs to stand up and decide what you're gonna do today. Like, and what. I don't think that we are, like, I'm looking at AI as a big opportunity. So, and amazing new tools, like, it was a major shift when we all switched to computers or something. Then people said, you will stop working physically, you will be all sitting working with your fingers, we're all gonna die. Like, no, we're using tool, still you need we're evolving. It's totally fine. I'm not afraid of it. Like, creativity, it's living inside of us, and creativity is much more important than actually your physical skills. I understand that artists, especially classical type of artists, they need to study a lot of years to be able to physically express all of their ideas that are coming to their brain. But the most important thing is actually the idea and the creativity that is standing behind it.
Yeah. No, I think, I hope that we don't lose human touch. And particularly when it comes to luxury brands, basically the human touch, authenticity, human being is so much in the center, right? And it should be. And I believe, like, probably human work or human touch will just be more of a luxury good, So the more humans are, that's an idea of mine, the more humans are involved, or the more human touch you have, the more expensive, for example. That could be an idea.
Absolutely. Like right now, while helping to create modern brands or something, when our company were working on over abuse of technology, we use everything.
Yeah.
So we have all types of digital
course.
layers and everything. And I'm finishing this touch, for example, like you seen one of our hoodies in Paris when we met with you.
Yes.
So it was handmade, like after the over abuse of technology and like crafting everything digitally, we decided that the hoodie at the end of the day should be crafted also with a human love and be handmade.
Oh, beautiful. I love that.
Yes, besides the fact that it includes NFTs, a couple of filters, NFCs, like all layers of gamification, digital try-ons. It's part of campaigns, but it's handmade.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's how you work as well, right? So you never want to basically exclude the human part.
No, I'm humanist. I love people so much.
Yeah,
it's
that's
the best.
yeah. So how do you balance, like, for example, game design with brand storytelling to ensure that it still feels authentic and not just like too gimmicky, and still it's like, oh, okay, that's actually really cool what the brand brought out. It's not something like a desperate, like whatever, trial of getting into the immersive space or digital space. How do you do the balancing act?
Well, first of all, nowadays it's super easy and the stages of approval when everything is almost going through ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And okay, approved production. I love working with storyboards and visualize everything and making as many changes as needed. And really, yes, being probably non-comfortable as a human, as a CEO, as anything, but making sure that we are rethinking the same idea multiple times as a human, not like as a prompt to ChatGPT, but inside of your head. And you create something still by your head. You do a lot of changes and then you move to next stages.
Oh, okay.
I'm not, it's only one perspective of the questions that you ask me, but let's start here, like visualization, storyboards, changing. This is how creativity should be still your everyday routine.
Okay.
You need to get inspired. You need to get reconnected with nature. When you create, you cannot just close yourself in a room. You need to...
Yeah. That's true, yeah. So you still basically work the traditional way, in a sense.
Do you see that? Yeah, but I use all types of the technologies, but yes, I'm super traditional, and I love reconnecting with nature, while creating things. Super technological and super techy and stuff, but anyways, we are just humans and we still are going to be inspired by the things that are affecting us positively.
Yeah, beautiful. But do you think, however, I mean, I'm again maybe the devil's advocate here, do you think that in the future AI will just take over the whole creative process? Or could?
Well, I don't think so. Because I believe that there are still going to be some people, it's super interesting. A lot of artists are coming back to being just a traditional artist in the world. Like, everyone not going to do this. No, I believe in a bright future. I believe still in human creativity. I believe AI is the most powerful tool, but not as a complete takeover over creativity. We have this artsy people. We have this inside of us. We need to put our energy somewhere. We cannot allow AI to do everything for us. People have hobbies. Creative hobbies. What are they gonna do otherwise? Not only running AI prompts the whole day.
Yes, yeah. So we can say before we wrap up, there is hope. People won't necessarily do the same jobs they do right now, but they are still needed. That's at least how you see it. I like that. And maybe just as a last question, what advice would you give to brands looking to dip their toes into the digital and like the physical and the digital, so the augmented, the connected, the immersive fashion space, who might be a bit like scared or hesitant, what would you say, how to start?
First of all, have their eyes open, look around, and not being afraid, and try. It's better to try than not to try and to be late.
Okay, that's a good advice. And probably to reach out to you as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, how can they reach out to you? What's the best?
The best way, CELED.io, our website, otherwise Instagram, otherwise my LinkedIn, if you can leave it for good people.
Yeah. We will put all the links and then they can connect with you. Your favorite tech tool right now, can you name that?
Tech tool?
Yeah.
My designer team.
Okay, that's humans. That's amazing. Exactly. I love that. Yeah.
I love humans. Yeah. You know that I'm from a business side. I am not designer myself.
Yeah.
But I'm like on a side of artistic direction.
Yeah. And who would you like to win as a next client? Your dream client?
My dream client. Well, probably at this point, Maison Margiela.
Okay, beautiful. I love the brand. Thank you so much. Thank you, visionaries, for taking a front row seat in fashion's digital revolution. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe on your favorite platform and don't forget to follow us on social media. This is Rewire Fashion and we're just getting started. Until next time, stay inspired and keep rewiring the future of fashion.